Today we are talking about the Bergara B14 Squared Crest. I think pretty unequivocally this is the most talked about hunting rifle of the year. Since it was announced at SHOT Show, this thing has been a very big topic of discussion, and it's finally out there. You can get these. The reason that this thing has become such an interesting talking point is because this is a very premium stock. It's carbon fiber, super rigid everywhere. It has modern stock lines, QD flush cups. Like, that's what a lot of guys are wanting. The stock that works well at a range and for hunting, but is still lightweight. Plus, tons of features. It's got nice looking Cerakote, fluted bolt and barrel. It's got that Bergara barrel that a lot of people are wanting. There's just so much to love about this gun. But I'm really in a trust but verify phase here. We're taking the first shots with this thing, and we're hoping to take this on a hunt tomorrow, but I really want to see if it's actually what it cracks up to be, because tons of times I get a gun then that looks great on paper, but in reality has some problems. So let's let this sucker in, see what you can do. We're going to bounce a little bit between the office and out at the range because we can take a little bit closer look at some of these things. So the idea was to take the Bergara HMR stock and make it out of carbon fiber. And they've taken very modern stock lines. Super excited to see that, because especially in this price point around, you know, $1,600, I saw one for $1,585. This rifle has the most modern stock geometry that I've seen with a carbon fiber stock in that price point. But what I mean by that is totally flat on the forend, flat as a pancake, flapjack. And that's nice because when you're resting on bags, a tree limb, anything, you want it to be flat. You don't want to be resting on a rounded something. It also has a very vertical grip so that when you address the trigger, you're pulling it straight back instead of, if you were kind of had more of a reach, you're pulling it at more of a 45, and it can kind of bump the gun off as you're shooting. Has a nice high cheek, raised cheek piece here. I think in the future they'll probably come out with an adjustable stock, but this is nice and high. What I did is I took off the Picatinny rail that it came with. I took that off and just used some tally. I think these are medium rings, and that brought the scope down low enough that I'm getting a nice cheek weld here even without an adjustable stock. So this stock, I mean, absolutely A+. This feels like $1,000 stock right off the bat. Very, very nice. The one miss on this stock is, man, a full-length ARCA rail here would have just really pushed us over the edge. Then you could attach it to a tripod, you could attach it to an ARCA bipod, or at least a section of Picatinny, anything but these sling swivel studs. It's just not a very good attachment point for a bipod to be resting on that. I feel like that's a miss. It doesn't match how modern everything else is in this stock. This video is sponsored by Sincier's Smart Muff. They have some very cool technology, and the people that I see that really need this is, especially if you work at a gun range, but really any shooter they're excellent for. This gun is shooting a brake that we're testing today, and I often find that a lot of hearing protection just isn't quite enough to quiet down a brake. Sincier's Smart Muffs will quiet down the loud shot of a gun down to a safe 82 decibels. They also have your microphone here that you can use for communication. The first thing that I do every time I get new Ear Pro to test is I turn it on, and it's, you know, gonna quiet everything down, but you should be able to still hear voices clearly. And I take it out on a windy day. So that was the very first thing I did. As soon as I noticed the wind was coming up, I grabbed these things out of the car, and you couldn't hear any wind in there. That's awesome. A lot of muffs are great when it's not windy, but as soon as it's windy, it has a problem. They're awesome, have incredible communications features in them. Check it out at shop.sincere.com/smartmuff, and you can get a discount by using coupon code BACKFIRE. That's shop.sincere.com/smartmuff. Then we look at the trigger. The trigger is awesome, similar to what you might see on some other Bergara rifles. Interesting though, clear, this breaks right at 2 pounds straight from the factory. That's actually unusual for a hunting rifle. Usually they're more 3.5, whatever, straight from the factory, and they're user adjustable. but very nice. I found feeding to be excellent from the 5-round magazine, but I did experience a problem we'll jump to in the field on this one. So unfortunately, we are experiencing an issue here with extraction. I'm sure this is an isolated error, but with the Federal ammo, everything was going in and out fine. With both the Hornady and the Barnes, it's very hard. I had to mortar it once just to extract. So here's an extracted case. You see that silver line? That it's kind of rubbing on something in there compared to an unfired case that doesn't have that silver line. Hopefully you can see. So somewhere in that extraction process, we're really sticking on these cases. It's to the point that I'm gonna try oiling it a little bit, but I think there's something that's gonna need some polishing. It's an issue. I've got to think this is isolated. I've owned a lot of Bergara rifles that have been very problem-free, but just want to make sure I am pointing that out. We are having
now accuracy though. We got to talk accuracy with this gun, because that's really, if you're buying a gun in this class, you want something that's going to shoot really well. Now, I picked this in 300 Win Mag, which is not great for testing accuracy. Now, 300 Win Mag, of course, can be very accurate. Cartridge for decades. However, it has so much free bore by today's standards that you'll often have to go through quite a few loads to find one that shoots well. The good news, if you watched my 1MOA hoax video, I talked in there, I have to be careful what I say because YouTube demonetized that video even though I didn't break any rules, and so I had to heavily edit the version if you go there now. Hopefully you saw it before that. Anyway, Bergara tells you what cartridge that it recommends, and so I'm looking for some SIG 300 Win Mag ammo. That's what they do for their accuracy testing in 300 Win Mag. However, I did see some good results right at just barely over 1 MOA using Federal Premium Terminal Ascent, and I'm very excited about the Terminal Ascent bullet. It's pretty cool, the design of it, and this is the first time I've seen it on shelves to be able to. So here's a 1.09, a .7755, and then this was a different load, but 1.7 on that one as well. So overall, shooting pretty well, but I'm wanting to test a few more as well. I've kind of buried the lead here. We've got to talk about this scope. This is the Burris Veracity PH. Let's cut to when we shot.
This is the Burris Veracity PH. It has the heads-up display in there. So the cool thing about this scope is I turn it to the Bluetooth setting, then I use the Burris Connect app on my phone. I type in all the ballistics, how fast is the bullet going, what bullet am I using, everything like that. And then I take it out of Bluetooth mode, and now when I spin this turret, it has a display in the scope that doesn't tell me I'm at 2.3 MOA. Instead, it just says you're dialed to 240 yards or whatever like that. And so all you have to do is range and then look in the scope to dial, and it already knows your dope. It knows your ballistics. So it's fast for hunting situations. What I don't know is how well it's going to adjust out to these far targets. How good is the ballistics calculator for them? Because that's really the unknown with this scope. If it has a good ballistics calculator, this thing just dominates. But we're gonna try it from 100, 300, 5, 7, 8, out to 1,000 yards. Let's see how it does. First target is 313 yards. I don't need to do any dope, anything. I just look in the scope and spin until it says 313. 312, we'll call that good. Impact! Next target, 420 yards. This is so cool. No dope, just goes straight into the scope. 420. This is awesome. I hope if it's accurate. Impact! Dead center. Next target, 728 yards. That is crazy. I'm just like reaching for my phone every time, like I gotta go get my phone and get the ballistics, but it just knows. I didn't hear anything. Let me watch a little bit closer. And let me make sure that is 720. Oh, engaged the wrong target. Impact! That is amazing. You guys, I'm getting sold on this thing. 833. Impact! Yes! Now it's getting serious. 1,009 yards. I don't know what I can dial this to, what its limit is. This is on a 300 Win Mag. 1,009. Here we go. It also has a built-in inclinometer right in the scope, so it'll tell you if you're canting it side to side, and you can set in the app how sensitive you want it. That is crazy cool. Impact! Okay, now the nasty one. This is insane if this gets it. First try. This is not multi-try kind of deal. Show it for YouTube. 1,200 yards. And it's a tiny target. Very small target out there. Okay, max yardage is 1,233, so we got this. Impact! Yes! Okay, Burris Veracity PH and the Bergara B14 Squared Crest definitely passes the test. That is crazy. Zero dope, just dial away. Gun is fun to shoot, very shootable stock with that super rigid stock, very shootable grip. Like, holy cow, that is a game changer. You guys, thanks for watching a Backfire video. I'm pretty excited about this one. This one is ready to go hunting with me next week.